Okay, we're back. It is the evening of September 6th. It's a little later than I wanted to be up here. Camp's still in good shape. Looks like the guy lines loosened up, I assume just with all the rain, everything getting wet and just kind of loosening up, but doesn't appear anybody or anything screwed with anything, so that's always a plus. What time is it? It's got to be getting close. It's getting close to like 6 o'clock. So I'm really quickly getting stuff ready and gonna hop in the side-by-side and head up the road. So probably just go to a observation look, that same one I went to on August 31st, glass around, see what's changed. There's been some bad weather, so I don't think guys have hunted really too hard, but the gloves are off too, so go to that observation, sit, but if something comes out with what I feel is enough time to get there, we're gonna go for it. So anyway, see you up at the top, see you somewhere, I don't know where, but I gotta go. That evening, I met with high winds at my glassing location. It makes it completely impossible for me to hear anything that would be a play for that evening's hunt. The only thing I did accomplish was seeing a couple groups of cows and calves in front of me with no bull in sight, and again, I couldn't hear one if they were there, but I watched them so long that I thought if there was a bull in there with them, I would have seen them. I did spot a bigger group of elk about 3+ miles to my right, and then another group of elk 3+ miles to my left. All I could tell was there was a big-bodied elk in each one of them, and I'm assuming that was a bull. The next morning, I head to the closer group, which was the group to my right, and in the pre-dawn hours, I hear zero bugling. My God, that's bright. When it gets light out, I spot zero elk. What I end up doing is just doing a couple cold calling sit-ups in the dark timber that those elk fed out of. I thought they were living there, and there was enough sign there when I went in there the next morning that thought it was a great idea. I get out of there seeing or hearing exactly no elk. Setup was too good. That's the issue. Usually when your wind's perfect, everything feels good, you got the sun at your back, nothing will happen. Just wasting your time. You got to have marginal wind, staring into the sun, then you'll call in a 6-point. I had to buy this, and I got to show it off that I'm eating it, but Bridgeford ready-to-eat pizza. It says on the package, directions, pizza was designed to be eaten straight from the pouch. However, it can also be heated via one of the following methods. A flameless heater, as is. Tear open the pouch at tear notches, remove pizza and eat. That sounds too boring. Flameless heater, which we won't read, or boiling water. Immerse unopened pouch in boiling water for 6 minutes. Tear open the pouch at tear notches, remove pizza and eat. Or there's microwave toaster oven. We don't have any of that, but we do have the boiling water. So this is what they come in, and when that water gets boiling, I'm going to shove this in there. Maybe I should do that now, I don't know, but we got the full snack bar open. We got some jerky, banana chips, we got anything else we want in there. What we really should probably get out that may be after this is the Lucky Charms. That's a staple in my camps. Okay, first slice. I mean, surely it doesn't have to be, don't do it that way. Doesn't have to be hot because they're going to have you eat it cold. It's warmish. Better than freaking Papa John's. You ever had Papa John's at like a sporting event? That shit sucks. But I mean, I guess if you could just, I guess I could have just got it out and put it on the grill. That'd make too much sense. Well, you guys have seen all this plenty. You might notice that the mood changed. Sitting here in a bull just bugled, no doubt bull, from camp. So I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do now. I want to eat my second slice. But grab my stuff slowly, and by the time I get that out, I'll probably be able to force in some pizza. So, dang, man. we've got 2 bulls. Or if he just went from up there, circled down. There you are. Okay. There are 2 bulls around here. Nearly right when I get in position, I see the bull. He's a little bit less than 40 yards, and I see he's a medium 5-point. If he would have been some giant bull, I maybe could have shuffled and gotten to position for a shot, but such is life. I didn't, and then I watched the bull kind of turn downhill and leave his cow. I found that odd. When I've been faced with this previously, I've thought about how stupid it was that I didn't bugle in that bull's face. So that's the move I decide to deploy, and I fully expect him to just go completely nuts and charge back up the mountain. Maybe we can go back to eating our pizza without being so rudely interrupted. I just feel, I mean, let me, I guess, put a bow around it. That was freaking cool. That's the only time that's ever happened to me is in Arizona, where you expect it to happen to you, where a bull bugles from camp and you go get right in on them, or a backcountry camp, you know, but never just my base camp like that. I've heard him bugling at night, but never that close and just walk up the hill and get an encounter. I know that I don't think the GoPro will ever pick it up. Maybe just barely. I'll be able to zoom in on it, but like 37 yards right when I spotted him is when I could have killed him. I would have had to sidestep and get away with it. But I've mentioned this before, the mantra of don't pass up on the first day what you kill on your last. I hate to even say it, it's so cliche, but it's bullshit advice. I don't abide by it one bit. I like elk hunting. It's my favorite thing. A 5-point on my 3rd day in the woods, I'm just not going to do it. I'd rather kill a cow, you know, in November than to kill a 5-point on my 3rd day. That might sound goofy to some people, but I like to elk hunt. I like to just be a part of it. And we've got a little bit of meat left in the freezer from last year's elk, so we're not in a meat crisis quite yet. And so I just felt like being a little picky. He didn't get me overly excited, and I like to be real excited. That's what it boils down to. Well, it's afternoon of September 7th, and I've already botched one plan. I got to it's a pretty normal
a little glassing and listening knob for me, but the wind was just so shifty, and I watched a smaller 6-point bull, probably still one I'd shoot, but came from a bedding area not far from it, and my wind was pretty strong right into that bedding area. I mean, if they were within 200 yards, I'm sure I've already screwed it up, but so I backed out and did a circle, thinking I'm staying far enough away from that bedding, but what probably happened is I just did a semicircle and let my wind blow right in there, so. Oh, this is gonna get fun. Alright. Probably just GoPro from here on out.
What looks like maybe just a mindless little clip of me checking the wind is actually quite useful in this situation. I'm on the shady side of this mountain, and I'm just checking to make sure the thermals are doing what they should be doing, and that's pulling down the mountain as we get closer to evening. The other mountain where the bull's at, as you can see, is drenched in sunlight, but I know that by the time I get there it might be in the shade. Knowing that these thermals are coming downhill when I am in the shade is just important to know as we kind of are in that middle ground of evening time. I know that being below this bull is the only way I'm going to be able to kill him due to the wind. Now, I fully expected that bull to bugle back at me after the first series of cow calls. I was a little worried that somehow I'd maybe screwed something up, so I gave it just a couple minutes and cow called again. You'll see that I turn my head and project the call behind me, and that's kind of twofold. One is to just confuse him and make him think that I'm farther away than I am, and that's important when you're just solo elk hunting and calling for yourself. And two is just a little bit of a scenario deal, like, hey, I came up, I cow called, you didn't answer, and now I'm going to leave. Notice how that bull got to the edge of the meadow and he stopped right there where he could see. He then stared at both places he thought he heard those cow sounds come from, and since he doesn't see a cow, he just kind of nervously bugles as if to say, hey, I'm right here. Where'd you go? If anyone, for any reason, ever tells you that bull elk can't make cow elk sounds, show them that.
Well, I had to get away from those cows. How awesome was that? Definitely not as big a bull as I thought with him screaming. I mean, I thought that was a mature bull, and he really was pretty much a raghorn 5, like a 2.5-year-old bull. Second 5-point I've passed up today. I almost couldn't lay off the trigger on that one. You call him in to know how close that was. It was going to be right at top pin, 18, 20 yards was my guess. I figured he kind of was a little closer than 20, but hard to tell. Close enough to 20 wouldn't have mattered. But you call him in like that, and it's hard to lay off. But I'm getting better at it. Oh, catch and release elk hunting. September 7th was a good day. Damn good. Man, that was fun. I'll just preface this by saying I'm not a doctor. But they usually don't survive that. No. Even got bubbles on the